Hello and welcome. Today we are joined by Angela Shurina, who is an executive health and high performance coach, as well as the founder of Your Best Coaching. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Nasi, so much for having me and doing this interview. Super excited. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you and to hear your insights. Obviously, you know that women face so many challenges and issues with self-doubt in leadership, especially in male-dominated industries. And we're about to go
Mm.
into an event filled with some wonderful women in executive positions. So, what advice would you give to them, in your capacity as a coach, to help them silence their inner critic and help take bolder steps moving forward?
Yeah, such a great question, Nazi. Thank you for it. I definitely struggled with quite a lot of self doubt. I don't think it will actually ever go away. And I deal with that on a regular basis. And I'd say with years, you just deal with it better and better. And so, first, I want to tell all the women out there it's absolutely normal to have that voice. That voice helps you, it actually shows you what you might want to work on or things you need to look at. So it's actually very useful. And then the second thing, in order to act effectively in the real world, despite that voice of self doubt, I have this phrase that kind of sums up my advice: outwork your self doubt. Specifically, I'm talking about this idea of taking on hard stuff that you think is challenging for you, that you think might not be exactly yet in your capacity to handle things, to implement things, to make things happen, and then take on hard things and then do them. And you'll accumulate more and more evidence that you can indeed do hard stuff, that you can take on challenges, that you can do things that you were previously not capable of, and you can grow. And that voice of self-doubt isn't really an obstacle that you can't overcome. More specifically, I've growing up, I was afraid of public speaking. I thought I'd never be able to speak on stage. And then somebody smarter than me told me, there are tools and you can work on yourself and you can improve. And I'm like, well, let me try. And I did it once and twice and many times after. And with repetition, I get better. And now I have this evidence. You were bad at it and you put in the work and you can get better. Or doing hard stuff in real life. Like, I hiked a mountain here for the first time. I come from Siberia. You probably can notice my accent that it's not from South Africa. And so there, everything is flat. I've never climbed anything, I don't know, higher than a few flights of stairs. And then here, I went on a hike. A friend invited me, and to Lion's Hat. And if you guys don't know how it is, but it's very open, and many spots are, yeah, you can see everything below you, and there is no support, nothing. And it's been quite a challenge for me to do that. But after I did it many times, now it feels like nothing. Like I can go up and down in total darkness, no matter what. And uh, that again built up that notion that I can do challenging stuff. I can do stuff that is hard, that I'm not comfortable with, and with repetition, I get better. And so when that self doubt voice now comes up, I just show it the evidence. Like, I've done this. And I can do other hard stuff. I can take on challenging projects. I can show up and I will get better. So outwork your self-doubt. To be honest, it's the most effective way because your brain always knows what you've done and what you're capable of. And once you start remembering your personal history of getting through hard stuff, no matter what, that will outspeak any inner critic, and that will be your superpower.
Oh, I love that. And I love also that you've experienced entrepreneurship firsthand as the founder of Your Best Coaching. So you know that entrepreneurship can be demanding as well. So I want to know a little bit more about what strategies you've used and what strategies you would suggest then to other women to help them find their authentic voice and, you know, maintain their energy and focus in trying to build, you know, their brand or their business.
Yeah, thank you, Darcy, again. Such a great question. And I feel like it has two parts. First, about finding your voice, and then the second part is maintaining focus among all the distractions and everything that's happening in the world and all the things that other people do. So I'm going to address it in two parts, if you don't mind. Uh, First, on finding your voice. It's like when my clients come to me for directions, they're switching lanes in life or figuring out what they want to do next. They are searching for answers like, how do I find new path, new me, or where to go? And through our work, we slowly but surely discover that it's not about finding it, but trying a lot of things and then seeing what works, what resonates the most. What is it that speaks to your soul the loudest at the moment? And you can't find it or figure it out until you try a lot of things. And I think also this process never ends. Tony Robbins has this saying, you know, it's one of the, I don't know, world's greatest coaches and motivational speakers. He has this saying, in life we're either growing or dying. And so I believe like where a lot of us make mistakes is that we think that this process of figuring things out somehow ends sometime, but it never ends. You know, every day I'm figuring things out. Sometimes I'm more confident, sometimes I'm less confident, but I always check in with myself. Like, is it the right thing for me? Does it feel right? Like, take on this step, take on this project. And if it feels right, I do it. And then I see how it makes me grow, how it makes me change. And I think the only skill set that is necessary for this process to happen is learning how to tune into yourself, into your like core center and feel, is this the right thing for me? And all it requires is to get quiet more often than not and to listen to what's happening in your head and taking the courageous step of listening to that and taking action on that, and life, the universe will show you the rest. So that's how you find your inner voice. You just try a lot of things and see what speaks the loudest to you. In terms of then maintaining your focus, it's very connected to this first part, and specifically the skill of learning how to listen to yourself, to hear your inner voice, and spending some time, you know, maybe a little bit back. I noticed at some point that we spend decades over our lives learning about how the world works. Like we are in school for 10 years, then university, some of us go to get doctorates, and we're learning so much about the world, the business, and we spend almost zero time on learning about who we are. Like how to hear your inner voice, how to understand your values, how to understand what you stand for in this world. And then we are surprised that we are so confused about who we are. Well, we spent like close to zero time learning about that or figuring that out. And you know, there are more than tools, more than enough tools available for us in the sphere of internet and coaches and education to go through this process. But there are two core practices that no matter what method you choose, these two will help you to find your like thing that then you can focus on the fastest way. Two things. Number one is being mindful, spending some time being quiet, observing your life, your thoughts, your own, like what's happening in your mind, just being present for your life and for what's happening in your head and your heart. And then the second thing is reflection. That is reflecting on things like what frustrates me in my life, what makes me feel alive, what I care about and why. And having some sort of reflection. I usually journal as a reflection every Sunday at least. I every morning I sit down with myself and I write about like what happened during last week. What did I learn? What resonated with me? What made me frustrated? What made me happy? And why? And what does it mean? What do I care about? Right? And every Sunday, I get more and more knowledge about who it is I am and what I care about and what my thing is. And once you have this very like deep understanding of who you are and what you want to do in this world coming from these practices, it's very easy to not pay attention to everything else because there's going to be, okay, this is who I am and what I care about, and this is the rest of the world. And the more of this practice of self-reflection you do, the easier it is going to be to separate the two. And once you can do that, like you don't really need any other tricks or tips how to stay focused, and then also how to have energy, because what's true to you will always give you energy, will set your soul on fire, and you'll be like waking up and jumping out of bed and how can I do more of that, right? A lot of energy just comes from that, knowing who you are, what you care about, and doing that thing.
I appreciate that so much as well, because I'm sure the festival is going to be filled with young women like me who, are probably in their late 20s and still are figuring out every day what it is that they want and how it is that they can achieve that. And I think we can learn a lot from you about how every day is a learning experience and how we aren't just conditioned to know everything one day. We're not going to wake up at 25 like I thought I would and just know everything. And I think we can all appreciate that, and especially how you've grown in your journey, because you're about to be a speaker at the WomenIN Festival when you didn't think that you could be
Yeah.
a speaker at all. So, if I see, what is it that you want to share with us at WomenIN Festival? What's the main message that you want to make sure that we leave with? Though I feel like we've already heard quite a bit of some juicy concepts from you today. What's something else that you want to make sure that we walk away with?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump into this question in a moment. First, I just want to say that it's so true what you just mentioned, that this process of figuring things out and growing just never ends, right? And even though I say like you'll figure your thing out, but it's always going to be evolving and changing. And so you're never going to be waking up and like, I have it all figured out, my whole
Yes.
life. That's never going to happen. Maybe before you died, but that's not useful for living your life. Anyhow, and then back to message, what I want to share at WomenIN Festival, first and foremost. I truly believe that WomenIN Festival, events like this, gatherings with like-minded people, it's the fastest way to get to where you want to go in life. And I want to explain a little bit more on that. You know how there is this saying, you're the average of 5 closest people to you, or something along this lines. It's a very old saying and it's been around for seems like forever. So we humans are social creatures and we adapt and reshape ourselves based on who we surround ourselves with. And I feel like this kind of events and gatherings of like-minded minds and souls and hearts, it allows you to expose yourself to different kind of people who might inspire you, people who you want to be more like, people you can learn from. And that helps you to upgrade your social circle. That helps you to understand that there are other people doing amazing things and I want to be like them. And then it accelerates your growth like nothing else. And the more of this you can create in your life and experience to reshape your social circle, the faster you're going to grow. Because again, as a social creature, you're going to be becoming the average of people you surround yourself with. And yeah, not every day you might have this amazing, social circle with all these leaders, etc. But if you have it on a regular basis and and you remember this and you carry this energy with you, that's going to be pulling you up towards your best expression of your future, your vision, and self. And that's why I'm like so grateful for these events, for people who organize them, and that's why I'm so pumped to be a part of it, to inspire and teach, but also to learn and get inspired, and yeah, and together create more amazing future.
Yeah, I think that was so beautifully said. I cannot wait to hear from you at this event, Angela. I think that you're gonna have so much to contribute, and I just can't wait to learn from you myself. So I know that you will be helping us to create such an impactful change at the WomenIN Festival, and we're just so grateful to you for your contribution.
Now, thank you, Nazi, for seeing this and for inviting me again. I just can't wait to meet all these amazing women who just inspire, and you who go out there and make things happen no matter how hard it gets. And when you get in the circle of these women and leaders, and yeah, you cannot stop yourself but want to be greater and bolder and make awesome things happen. So very excited. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. And to our viewers who are watching this, make sure to go and book your tickets right now at www.wearewomenin.com and join us from the 14th to the 15th of November in the Silo district of Cape Town. We cannot wait to uplift one another and learn from one another. As Angela has said, it's going to be inspiring, it's going to be impactful, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to join us and come and gain knowledge from wonderful speakers like Angela.